Forever. Dog.
Warning, the following podcast may... Look, there's no other way to say it. It includes bawdiness, okay? I'm so sorry, but it does. It's very bawdy. Specific bawdiness may involve codpieces, cleavage horns, ye olde sex toys, and an odyssey through Jason's bladder. Johnny Pemberton leads us on a ribald expedition through the world of the Ren Fair on podcast The Ride. Huzzah and good morrow. Welcome to podcast The Fair, hosted by three good lads who doth taketh interest in horseless buggies that toss ye hither. I'm Scott Gardner. That's the end of that. I'm joined by Jason Sheridan. Hi.
Difficult to sustain for long periods of time.
The entirety of the podcast will not be done in such language unless somebody wants to try it on their own, but I'm stopping. Mike Carlson.
Hi, yes, and thank you for stopping it before you got to me, because I was really like, okay, how am I going to do it? And everything that popped in my head was definitely like saying stuff in a pirate manner, but more positive, like, "Are ye mateys, avast?" And I was like, that's not it. That's not the way to do this. So thank goodness it stopped before I was put under pressure.
It's not an area that we're prepared to speak in for a very long time. I was thinking about this, how, like, there's sort of a through line between what we're talking about today, Renaissance fairs, and like areas of nerddom that I don't think we have. I feel like among the three of us, there is not Lord of the Rings and Hobbit so much, right? Unless it's just never come up.
For me, at least.
Game of Thrones? Do you even watch? Is this somehow an area that eludes all three of us nerds?
It's not my scene. Well, I did see like every Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie were usually Christmas releases. Mm-hmm. So that was like between Christmas and New Year's. Oh, we'll go see this, and it was a very pleasant experience.
So you're not a fan of those as much as you are just a fan of
as much
Christmas
as like
pleasantry.
Oh, we'll go to a movie and then go out to dinner. You know,
a fan of dinner that we know that's been established.
Any sort of medieval fiction, you're happy as long as there's an Applebee's afterward.
Well, yeah, it's like, oh, I wonder what I'll get at Romano's Macaroni Grill after this. Probably the same thing I always get.
You're zoning out while Gollum is like trying to grab the ring, and there's a big climax.
Yes,
like,
I am just imagining the ring has been replaced with like meat ravioli.
An onion ring.
Oh, an onion ring, sure. Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce. Jack Daniel's sauce
on pasta.
Mm-hmm. It's not. This is one of those where I feel like disappointed in myself that I haven't watched Game of Thrones. That I'm not that into like the castles and I like dragons, but I'm not so into it. So it feels like I've let people down, imaginary people down, or upset by me for not having some like intense fandom for this type of thing that feels so adjacent. Because maybe I'll get there, because like I'm trying to be a little horror boy. I'm trying to get into all that stuff recently. I just got through the third Freddy Krueger movie.
Great,
which is
just
very
in time
exciting.
For right after Halloween. Great.
Look, there's a baby, and sometimes Scott, something you said where you had to get through movies in chunks. That is very true with our
so
baby
it's 5
as well.
Sittings now. Yeah, I'm going
so
so
Dream
slow
Warrior.
on movies.
90-minute movies take 3 days.
That's what's nice about this. We
yeah.
can sit down and do a 90-minute experience that can't be interrupted unless somebody needs to pee or something. But let's barrel in, because now's the chance. If anyone's mad at any of us for not being into anything medieval adjacent, fantasy adjacent, let's start figuring it out, because this topic I feel like is a no-brainer. I can't believe we haven't done it, and it took our excellent guest to bring it to us, a Ren Fair fan. And when I asked about credits, he encouraged the instructions were to go to your Mozilla, type his name in, and don't worry about spelling it right. And hopefully there's an autocorrect. So if you want to know more, then go to Mozilla and type in Johnny Pemberton. Hi.
Hi, huzzah to the tipper.
To the what?
Huzzah.
You already lost me on one. What was that word?
Huzzah.
No, the other one.
You said that when you're at Ren Fair, when that's what they say to you, the workers. When you tip them, they say, huzzah to my tipper, huzzah. Saying it out loud. Saying it out loud, I just feel like there's sort of like this weird thing when you take Ren Fair out of Ren Fair, it feels a little like cringy.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, there's something about
when
it.
you're not in the garb and when you're in a modern studio.
When you're in a very well-lit place.
Yeah.
Where everyone's moderately clean and there's no indoors, there's something about huzzah to the tipper that
you
feels
shudder as it's
it's like a little bit
out
like
of you.
I think I figured out you guys' blind spot though.
Oh,
with
really?
This whole thing. I was listening to your opening introduction discussion.
Yeah.
Is it possible that you guys don't smoke a lot of weed?
Not so much. Jason.
Not two of us.
bit.
Not two of us.
Yeah. Me not in
Okay.
a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Huh. That
I
makes
think the
sense,
fantasy
yeah.
stuff, all the people I know who've been super into fantasy stuff are stoners.
Huh.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I got into it around 30, so I'm a cool guy.
Okay.
with my weed. So
Was it
maybe
not till then?
fantasy-
Really? I guess I didn't realize your timeline.
In my later 20s, like I tried edibles, and they're very intense,
Oh yeah.
and so I've gone backwards to the weaker stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, why do you think there is that correlation? Why is it a stoner experience?
I think it's like you get lost in the experience because for me, the whole Ren Fair thing is you go and you get to kind of like time travel a bit.
Yeah.
And that's very conducive to being out of your head a bit, being high. Also, I mean drinking too. They serve alcohol at Ren Fair.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people love to drink at Ren Fair. They
Sure.
really do.
It seems like
Yeah.
a super boozy affair. It
But there's
certainly
something
can
about
be.
some about psychedelics and weed. I think are very conducive to the time traveling.
To
Yeah.
transporting
The
you to
anachronism.
another-
I feel like there's a thing too where like everyone's like committed to the bit.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
everyone really wants to be there. I feel like this would be a place where I would be more comfortable dressing in the period garb than like cosplaying a Comic-Con.
Absolutely. It's the kind of thing where the first time I went, I found that out very quickly. And then every year after, like you got to dress up. Otherwise, you get ribbed by the jokers who roam the boulevards of the Ren Fair. They'll rib you.
The
They'll come at
opposite
you.
of the huzzah for the tipper. You're not being commended. You're being.
Yeah.
You'll be committed for dressing like a future man.
Yeah, they're like, "What is this garb that you wear? What is this strange printing on your shirts, good sir? I am confused by it." Stuff like that. And
The printing press does not work on fabric.
Oh, there's a lot of times where people, like two guys will jump in on someone. They'll be like, "Yes, what is this man doing? What is this strange contraption he has?" Like if you have to bring your phone out or something, that kind of stuff, which I like. I think it's cool that they get after you.
Sure.
They're like basically like, "You can't. How dare you? How dare you not time travel with me?"
That sounds humiliating. So it's like completely in your best interest to just jump in, do it full tilt.
Well, also we're talking about the Renaissance Pleasure Fair here, which is a Southern California thing.
Oh yeah,
So-
well that's a good question. I
Right.
didn't know how you wanted to narrow it. If it is the general thing, or if we're focusing on because you've been a regular of the SoCal one for some time.
The Renaissance Pleasure Fair, which is very important to say because it is a sexually tinged Renaissance fair, and that's well known. Everyone knows this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's part of the tradition of it. It's what they call it's a bit baudy.
Well, you don't even know what you just stepped in because
Maybe-
body has been a running word on this
Are you
podcast.
serious?
Yes, yeah.
my
Yes.
gosh.
I noted that body comes up in Ren Fair discussion a lot. What are your associations with body? I can fill you in on why it's come up with us.
I would say for me, it's this sort of thing where it's a way to say something that's sexual in nature, but it's also kind of jokey and it's good natured. It's not like it's a little bit pervy, but not in the sense where it's
obscene or
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Pornographic, yes.
It's like everyone's in this arena where everything you say is like, oh, everything's a double entendre. So
Yeah.
it feels like it's body in this. Well, it's playful. It's very playful.
Sure.
Here's the best example I have of it is a lot of people who work at the stalls and stuff there are women, and they have a significant amount of cleavage available to see.
This seems like a big thing about this.
It's a big
there's
thing.
a lot of pushing up going on.
A lot of
at all
pushing up
these-
with the corset, and a lot of times these women who have the extremely ample bosoms will put a little horn in their cleavage, and they will squeeze their boobs together and honk this horn when you tip them, like you're buying a turkey leg. It's like honk honk. That to me is not at all sexual. I find it to be not, you know what I mean? That is not arousing. That is not arousing at all. That is
because
kind
you
of
could
the
do that with
opposite.
your butt too.
Right.
That's very just like weird anatomy.
That's body.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think that's body.
On the fringes of here's what the human body BODY can do, but not like that's not a. You're not watching that in a pornographic film. I don't think, unless
There's
No.
got to be
Well-
something, some porno where that's in there.
Sure.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying it's not
Honk
common.
honk.
for sure.
Yeah.
I wish I could do it. I've never,
It's kind of Pee Wee Herman-esque. I feel it's like a little bit, you know what I mean? It's kind of it's sexual maybe for like a teen or like a child or something
Yeah.
like that. Like this is, oh, that's sexy. It's like, no, it's
boobs
kind
are
of,
being used
Yeah.
in some way.
I watched
Mm-hmm.
some shows from the one I went to growing up, the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair.
that's probably a
And
great one.
It is incredibly elaborate. It's on
Okay.
a winery's like property.
Oh, I'm already in.
So they also now are partnered with a brewery and a distillery and a local hard cider company. And they've built Tudor structures and stages and stuff.
Where
and
is this in Pennsylvania? I didn't even know about this.
It's like north of Lancaster.
Okay.
And it's at the Mount Hope Winery. And there is a show called like the Washing Wenches show. And there was literally like this woman, everyone's on, benches. And this woman stood on a bench with like her crotch in a man's face and gave him the instruction of like, all right, we need to check each other for weapons. So pat your way from the top of my back to my bottom and give it a squeeze. And I was like, dear God, this has crossed the line from baughty to straight up horny.
Mm-hmm.
Jason called the
gotta draw a
local
chart, yeah.
authorities. Jason called the local authorities and had the whole thing shut down.
I called the sheriff, and you know what happened? He slipped and fell in the mud pit on the way to the Washing Wenches show. Because that's one of the
man.
other... There's a mud pit. There's all the things. There's like a Globe Theater replica.
You got to have that. That's very essential.
You got to have that. There is I only went once. We went for a school field trip, and they're like, do not miss the human chess game. Which I learned just in the last year or two is now called the Tournament of Arms. Same show, skip the chess moves. So everyone just does stage combat.
Oh, that sounds a little more exciting than watching steps be taken
Well-
one over and two up.
What happens is when your rook takes the other person's pawn, they fight for a second. And they don't always like win, I feel like.
Oh, so it's not by chess moves. It's literally by combat moves.
Yeah, kind of. Like everyone is moving like the chess pieces they represent, but then there is battle. I guess it's staged so that like if a piece is taking another piece,
Right.
the one wins.
Like metaphorically, this is what's happening in chess. We just don't think about it.
Yeah.
We just do it as like knock off at most. But in every chess move,
yeah.
there is like blood being shed.
The game
It's
of
like
chess.
the
yes.
Star Wars chess game where like the monsters fight each other and then one
yeah,
dies.
yeah.
It's really that's sort of what's happening in chess.
Oh, that's
If you want it
getting
to
to
be.
actualize to get violence into a little board game. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice they provide an opportunity to finally flesh out what chess really. We should really like mourn each piece as we.
I got to go to this Ren Fair. I
Yeah.
really want to go now.
It's really cool, and it's like I watched some videos. They rehearse for like a month, and then it runs August, September, and October on the weekends and the holidays. But when I was like 12, like in 7th grade, we definitely went on a school field trip, got in the bus at the middle school, went up there, and they were just like, all right, meet back up at 5 and just unleashed us. And we just did whatever we want. So I remember doing archery. I remember pricing out swords.
You became a man, would you say?
I became a man. I became a very fussy man because I was saying to you guys before the show.
That's when it happened.
I was like, we have to be back on the bus at 5 o'clock, but the grand finale is at 5:30. We're going to miss. We never saw the end of the story.
The Queen's procession?
Yeah, I believe they call it the final pub toast.
Ooh.
Like they have fully leaned into the booziness, and now it's just on the weekends. It's not really on the weekdays, except like school days, where they seem to mostly do like, they do a Shakespeare workshop, and they do like a different educational workshops.
Less boozy, presumably, and less body. Hopefully,
yeah.
Hopefully.
No, it's not just like we're doing the day and we're unleashing 12 and 13-year-olds to go wild. Like it was so exciting in 1997. It's like, wow, I get to get a turkey leg not at Disney World.
It is an amazing experience. I went as a kid to the one in Minnesota, where I grew up in Minnesota, in Shakopee, and I was blown away by it. I loved it. Remember, there was a guy walking around with his shirt off who was selling pickles, and everything he said out of his mouth was a joke about his penis, but also about the pickle.
Wow.
Yes.
And it was great. It was so body. It was just off the charts body.
Wow.
That was my first Ren Fair. I remember that guy at the pickle salesman really just, it sunk its teeth in me because I realized, this guy's walking around. This guy's probably, he's about close to unemployed with a job that you can be.
An
selling
occasional
pickles.
job, a
Right.
job for a brief, and a really specific, strange job. Here's a little mind blower because I was thinking like I was probably the Minnesota Fair. I should look up what's up with the Minnesota Fair. And somebody, I don't know if this was your pickle boy or pickle man.
Oh, well, let me guess. He's got a restraining order or something like that, maybe.
No, I don't have a rap sheet. No, it's good news. It's one of our finest performers got started as a pickle boy. Jason Mraz.
Really?
At that one, Minnesota
serious?
specifically. So you're a pickle boy. Wait, probably not. How old? Jason Mraz is like our age, isn't he? I don't know how old.
He's a little older than
This
us.
guy
little
was
older.
Okay, well, all right. Could have been then.
This guy was a little older, I think. This guy was definitely.
You did say pickle man, not pickle
he was
boy.
a
So.
pickle man. He was definitely a man, but he wasn't like that old of a man. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Jason Mraz. This guy feels like the
Mraz
kind of
is
guy.
45 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I
that
don't think
timeline
so.
doesn't line up. But I feel like Jason Mraz has a kind of a direct line to people's hearts, their heartstrings, and maybe this like the sensuality of the pickle boy job that you described.
Yeah.
Maybe it got him thinking, how do I write songs that tingle people?
Would
He
you like to
seems
touch
like
my
he would be the
pickle?
perfect guy to like motion capture that like rooster in the Robin Hood Disney movie, like with the little with the little guitar or whatever.
The
like,
mandolin?
That seems like a mandolin. Like it seems like he's definitely like hat tipped to one side, like strumming and making like bawdy jokes while
You mean
singing.
he's a rake?
I would
Oh,
say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
What's that word?
He's kind of a rakish.
Carouser.
He's a rogue.
Okay.
Yeah, rogue. Rogue gets used
Yes.
In
A
this,
rogue.
In this language.
I agree with you, by the way, Mike, but that they're going out to Lin-Manuel first on that. When Lin-Manuel passes, whenever Disney does this, then then they'll go to Mraz.
But Lin-Manuel can't really sing, can he?
Can he?
I think
We just,
he
we
can.
just don't
Sings,
know
he's just
the-
maybe
He sings like if you're not singing. It's more like you're trying to sing, but you're not really singing. You're doing a thing that's like this of a sing.
There's a certain musicality to it that I could do it, but it's
But
not-
he doesn't have pipes.
yeah, maybe not. Yeah,
think
could
he
he
would
like
say
super? Yeah. He might divide up his own.
He invented
talents.
that whole thing because he doesn't have pipes.
He had to figure out how he could.
Like, how can I
contribute.
make it in musical theater without being a real triple threat?
Yes, but writing parts for singer. Like there are some
can
very
do
good
that.
singers in
Yeah.
a lot of his shows.
Sure.
Yeah, I watched a video. You want to talk about actors at this fair? The Pennsylvania one, at least, they did like interviews with people who work there, and it's so funny because someone was like, Yeah, I got the job here because I, had done a few plays in the area and I knew a little stage combat. And after 3 or 4 months, I'm jumping out of a 2nd-story window.
Wow.
Because
Come right
everyone
in.
like picks up skills and it's also like for like an actor, it is like a 4-month gig. Like at least at the bigger ones, they do like a month or more of rehearsals just to get ready for it.
Huh. Oh, yeah. So you don't think about that part. You think of it as a weekend thing, but it's like, yeah, it's a way to be employed with odd skills for a while.
Yeah.
It's like a scare actor.
Oh, yeah.
I would say it is on that level of scare actor where it's a little bit, it's barely employed. It's sort of that, you know what I mean? Like you're almost fully employed.
Yeah.
But the reason you do it is not so much for the job, but because they're letting you do this thing that you want to do.
Yeah,
Like I've watched a lot of scare actor auditions. You ever watch those?
Oh, I know there's those. There are videos and documentaries, but I haven't gone into it
There's
much.
some good ones.
Oh, really?
And it's a certain type of person who is very much, the job is like they have to pay you, but that person, they would do it for free. You would definitely do it for free. Just the privilege of being able to play in the arena. I feel like a lot of Ren Fair people are that way, where there's a lot of people who aren't paid to work there. They just sort of camp there, and they walk around in garb and character, interacting with people, but they're not being paid. I think they're more just camping there. I'm not really sure how it works actually. I know there's a lot of there's a big behind the scenes at Ren Fair that is I've never been a part of.
Sure. Did you ever consider trying your hand at working it? Did that ever occur to you? Or scare actor in your acting travels?
I definitely have not thought about scare acting because I only learned about that sort of recently, and I think it's something where I don't know. I don't think I'd be the right person for that.
It'd be a step down at this point.
I guess so. Yeah, and I also just don't think I don't have the passion those guys have to do it.
Yeah.
But Ren Fair, I think, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I could do it. Maybe I would do it. I think it's a commitment. You also have to buy a lot of stuff. I don't have like a ton of stuff to wear that would be really sink me into the period enough.
Yeah. Is there a position there you would want? Like if there was like one role there that seems more fun than others?
I mean, probably the pickle guy.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, selling those pickles.
Do you remember what a pickle double entendre was? Wait, we're looking at a pickle guy. Oh, thanks,
There you
Jordan.
go. And he's shirtless too.
Wow. Was yours shirtless?
Yes, he was shirtless.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that was a dimension of being a pickle guy.
I didn't know that either until just now.
Jeez.
I think the pickle thing, it's just everything. You just talk about your penis, but you say pickle instead of penis.
Yeah.
Like, ladies, would you like to suck on one of my pickles? They're juicy and long.
That right.
Hey, everybody, I got some fat, juicy pickles. You can suck on them while you walk around. No problem. Touch my pickle. I dare you. It won't hurt you.
Jeez. Those are all
Just
pretty
say
good.
Was
that
this
kind of
something
stuff.
that actually there was a documented man who would do this in olden days?
I bet so.
Like, was there a...
Yeah, ye old Disneyland, Mike. That's where they got the idea from.
Oh, okay. Got
That's
it.
the big thing about Ren Fair, too, is it's an amalgamation. There's nothing... They have like steampunk people there. There's no wrong way. There's hardliners, but there's also people who are just anything from like I don't even know, probably from like 1100 to 1600 kind of falls in there. You know,
It all counts. It all blends together because I looking at there's a big chart you can look at of all of them across the country, and they all define a specific era that they're set, and there's a difference between Elizabethan and then more like
Tudor,
Robin Hood era.
Well, that's Elizabethan, isn't it? I don't even know.
Is it? I don't. Yeah,
I don't even know.
That's
not
what
the kind
they.
of podcast we
I've
are.
seen the houses and the stages and buildings described as. They also, a lot of them do theme weekends.
Yes.
So there's pirates. There's unlicensed Harry Potter weekend.
So you're fine on the
There's-
yarg. If you still want to do it,
Yeah.
Mike.
Yeah.
If you want to give us a
Yarg.
Hey, great. Okay. That was a little theme minute to the podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pirates.
yeah.
Pirates are big.
Perfect.
Pirates are really big.
Pirates, yeah, the crossover pirates. The funniest weekend I saw was Time Traveler weekend, and they're just like leaning on a phone on the Doctor Who phone booth, and so it's like because I do think while it would be very fun to dress up and go to these things, it is funny to wear a Star Trek outfit and go to these things. I think it's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. That's pretty funny.
I like that.
I think it's funny.
Is it
I
8
think-
hours of
Convincing
funny
you.
though? Is it like how long can the bit
Well,
go?
8
Like,
hours
after.
Look, I don't know that anything is sustained that long funny. I mean, there are a lot of improv shows at these sort of like ye old Shakespearean like 20-minute improv
Right.
shows at different little pop-up areas.
Ye old Harold.
I've done a
Ye
bunch
old-
Yeah,
myself, actually, because usually I have some sort of psychedelic and then drink a bunch, and a lot of times it ends up being where you're shouting, just like, "Don't look at this tree! How dare you! Don't look!" And it's just to people you don't know, which becomes like this weird. It's like your own personal improv show, because you're just so fucked up that you don't care that.
You become an entire other. I like the voice first of all, because I was curious, what you become when you go there, and that has that like. I feel like you like de-aged yourself with that voice. That
voice,
feels,
it's
like
such
you're
a
a boy now. You're a lad.
What are you doing here, sir? Sir, please give me your sword. It's like something about that voice. It's so stupid, but you know right away what it is.
So you're a person. You're just you're bothered by everything, and you think people aren't where they're supposed to be.
Or you
and
have, or
trees.
you're like a boy with a job who like, keep moving, move up, move forward, keep passing, keep walking, don't stop here, don't touch the deer.
You're
no
an
petting.
order keeper.
Right.
You're,
Yeah.
or kind of a medieval hall monitor, I guess.
Keep walking.
I'm 13 years old. Life expectancy is 26, so I'm having midlife crises.
Who wants to marry me? I have nothing. Looking for a good woman who works hard. Peaches, peaches.
We all have adult colic.
Tapeworm eliminator. Eat this now. Sofa, no sofa here.
So you walk around with like mush or ice cubes or something to get rid of people's tapeworms.
That, or I usually carry like a big, huge stick, like an old sunflower stalk, and I have a bunch of rosemary and like a bunch of herbs on it and stuff, and we'll touch people with it like from a distance.
Whoa.
And sometimes that's usually pretty fun.
And that cures them of something or gives them a power?
It's kind of like, it doesn't matter, right? That's the whole thing. It's just a grab bag. If it's kind of ye oldie, then it works. You can have walk around with a bunch of rosemary and have like a wool blanket and some mud on your face, and you'd fit in. Like
You're the slop boy.
Yeah, you're the slop
Yeah, you're
boy
the slop boy.
who carrying a bundle of sticks back to your master, who is the blacksmith, the smithy. Pardon me.
who needs them for your collecting. He's like probably got to burn stuff. He needs a fire to fuel his blacksmithery. So
That's
you need
the
a
great
bunch
thing.
of sticks.
All you have to do is just be dirty. If you're just filthy, that's your costume. Filthy, no labels, you're instantly time traveled.
So you could wear current clothes as long as you cover up all logos. If you're wearing a Tasmanian devil shirt, just like mud them up real good, and then you're not going to get mocked.
And just be very almost horrified and confused. Like, what time am I? Where am I? When am I?
Well, for the time travelers weekend.
For the Time Travelers weekend, for sure. But and you can buy pretty much any accoutrements. You can buy herbs. You can buy walking sticks. This was the only field trip I ever went on where they're like, remember, you cannot buy weapons. Weapons will not be let back on the bus. Wooden swords may be discussed, but like they had very elaborate like swords and knives and stuff for sale. Because that's the other thing. This employs not just actors for a while, it employs like all kinds of craftsmen. You get blacksmiths, glass blowers, sword makers.
Candles. And
candles.
and-
Yeah.
Right. That's a part of it, because I've never done one of these. What's everybody's full literacy? I guess just Mike is
Full
left.
literacy? I can read. I'm able to read, actually. That's one of my special gifts during the Renaissance fairs. I'm able to read stuff.
Wow. Yeah. Which a lot of people, probably people were not educated at that time. So you're
Nobody.
doing them a real like labels. Anyone need a label, Red?
I knew how to read, and then I read Martin Luther's proclamation he put on the church door, and I was just like, never again. Horrifying.
I will bang my head on something until I don't remember how
I'm
to
a
read.
papist, and I don't know what this Protestant nonsense is. I've gone blind.
I meant to say Ren Fair literacy, and by which I mean experience and not literacy. So that having been said, Mike, you ever done it?
No, never done it. Anytime when I was little and I would go past anything that looked like it, honestly, it made me uncomfortable. And I don't know if it was the bawdiness of the ladies. I don't even know if that was being conveyed to me that that's what was happening. But there was something about it that made me feel odd. I didn't want to be part of it. And I guess it's carried over into my adult years. But I'm not against it now. It's just no one's ever invited me in the last 10 or 15 years to even go. So it's never come up.
Oh, no. Well,
no one ever invited me. I just decided to go.
Yeah, well, I was looking for some sympathy,
Johnny, that's the thing.
I was looking for like a woe is me, like no one invited me, so I don't want to. No, I don't want to go if no one invites me.
Well, if you go, you got to take acid, okay? So.
I'm working on weed. I'm working on getting weed to work because that freaks me out too much, and I end up like vibrating at a different frequency. So acid seems like it's going to be maybe 30 years away from now.
Unless you're right, is it possible that somehow acid works in a way that weed doesn't? I guess I'm asking for myself too, because I haven't done any drugs in a while.
I think it's all very different on the different person, probably, but all of it can probably be scary as hell at Ren Fair if it's done wrong. I've had bad experiences there.
Oh, what's a bad experience? I mean, not to take you back to it,
but way too high, like accidentally too high from edibles to the point where. It's difficult to leave the shade of a small tree. Like it's just sort of stuck. Like, oh shit, can't move. One of the last
times where I was like, I think I'm going to stop doing this is I got high at that thing I was at with you, Mike, desert trip. When we split off, we like parted ways, and I met a friend and got too high, and I just remember that like I was so high that I was like, okay, you got to get your shit together, and you're going to use cash money correctly and use it to buy a hamburger. And the person, when you do it right, the person is going to be so impressed that you did it. These are my high thought. Like, you're going to blow her away with your ability to put out money correctly. And so then I'm doing it so slowly and carefully and weird. I remember walking up to watch the Neil Young set still full of pride that I used money right. And then when I came to, I was like, this seems like it's not the fit. Getting like 500% dumber is not something I want to do.
That sounds about right.
Exactly. Yeah, this is what I was going through, though, too. And I was in the pit watching Paul McCartney, and I also was high and weird. Like, I was feeling so weird. And I was watching Paul McCartney, and I literally, all I could see was his old skeleton. Like, I just saw the man's old skeleton dragging himself from the piano to the bass guitar and being like, this one's for John. And, like, I'm imagining his skeleton talking to me. And I'm like, I don't know. I love this song, but it's too much right now. There's too much stimuli.
That's the opposite of the joy of a Beatle concert that you that's misery.
It's hard to control your dosage with edibles. But if you go get, like, you go to a dispensary and say, what is the cheapest pre-roll you have? Like a $4 or $5 pre-roll. That's pretty reliable.
Yep. Okay. And that's going to rip you up, too, in a good way. You know, that's going to get you.
It can, because they say there used to be, like, people would talk about mids, like middle-of-the-road weak weed, and now there's people believe that those have been bred out by decades of, like, weed is too strong now.
Oh,
So, but if you
the middle class of weed has been eliminated.
Yeah. But if you go for the cheaper stuff, it's usually weaker and it's easier to control. Because there's edibles and there's so many gadgets and doodads nowadays, and those can really mess you up.
Accurate? Can you regulate his?
I think that's right.
Okay.
Also, everyone's different.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some people find one thing that works, and also I think with Ren Fair, I think it's good to get just a little more than you want, a little more than you're comfortable with. So you get to that time travel zone where you're feeling. That's what I call it, is time traveling.
Yeah. That's cool.
And the other thing is, if you're too high at Ren Fair, all you have to do is look at your friends you're with, and you say, if you're getting skeezed out, you gotta just say, "Shall we carry on?" And that's how. Any situation, you just say, "Shall we carry on?" Wow. That's the instant eject button for uncomfortableness.
Oh, okay. Well, because from the looks of like Pickle Boy, for example,
Right?
the uncomfortableness seems like something.
Oh,
you
there's
might
another
want to-
one.
Oh no. I don't know, better or worse than the previous. We were looking. The first one we were looking at. You can watch this on YouTube on the Forever Dog YouTube. But the first Pickle Boy was shirtless and kind of like Pete Davidson physique. This guy's shirted, which is an improvement. But a little bit of like a beret, long hair, beard creep
This
too.
guy's older. He's probably put a shirt on because he's come along in years. I'm sure he used to be shirtless.
Was once a pickle boy,
Yeah.
shirtless pickle boy. Now he's shirted pickle
He's
man.
a veteran. He passes out the start work. He passes out the W-9s at the start of the season.
Hey,
you know?
man, I hate to do this, but you got to sign this crap. It sucks.
It's gonna be the last modern thing you got to do. After this, you're in the past. You don't got to worry about taxes.
They're
Yeah.
really good. They're really fast, though. And you pick weekly or every other week, you know? It's cool.
They're all swarthy, though. They're all swarthy.
Yeah.
They're all coxmen.
Yeah.
Well, here's on that point, Jordan. Can I ask for a clip? This is the first clip of 2 from PM Magazine. This is the second time this has come up lately. It's this early '80s pleasant news magazine show that I like. They profiled the Cabbage Patch Kids, and then this woman in a really sharp PM Magazine like baseball shirt. She's touring this is the Houston Ren Fair, I believe, and this is a guy I think you would want to carry on from as quickly as possible.
I'm a rogue. Come here, I give away free kisses. Would you like one?
Yes.
Oh,
Kissing the reporter.
okay.
He's into
I
it.
know what you are. You're a Renaissance dirty old man.
That's what a rogue is,
That's
all
right.
right. You got it, lass.
There you go.
A
Yeah,
Renaissance dirty old man.
just going in, and she had to turn left to break the kiss.
All she had to do was
He's a
not
rogue.
being directly lined up with it.
He's
so
a rogue.
That's a rogue for you. Another certainly swarthy. Her beard's part of swarthiness and long hair part of swarthiness. They certainly can be.
I feel like it's all about like the movement. If you feel like you got something jangling around, you got some long hair, you got like any kind of anything baggy or anything that sort of attracts attention. That's all swarthy to me.
They're all very Captain Jack Sparrow-esque
Yes.
to me.
They're all half in the bag. That's how
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're definitely half in the bag in the daytime, roaming around, looking for whatever will say yes, or whatever will say just like whatever doesn't say no immediately.
What is that's a question for you? Is like there is we've established bodiness, but there's also certainly horniness
Right.
to it. And that what has been your level of comfort with the general horniness in the? Or are you as the impish hall monitor not privy to the horniness as much?
I think I don't know. There's definitely a lot of it that's on display and stuff, and you see it just in the costumes and the way people act, and people will say ribald comments to you, to strangers. They'll say stuff about your appearance, or I've had people hit on my girlfriend like right in front of me, and I had to defend her honor. It was all, but it was very fun.
That's kind of fun. Yeah.
The weirdest thing I think I've seen in terms of that is something called the Dragon's Lair, which we stumbled upon sort of very late in the day, and it's you go behind. It's a glass blowing area. You can go back in this tent, and you go back to the Dragon's Lair, which is 18 plus, which is a bunch of dildos and stuff back there. I remember seeing this stuff and being like, this is outstanding. Just going into the Dragon's Lair, and that's what it's called, where they keep all the hand blown glass dildos and sex toys to have.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
That's not what you're
Yeah.
expecting. You're like, am I going to see the most impressive animatronic? Is fire
No.
going to be breathed?
It's
Good
definitely
sir, fair maiden, would you like to come to ye old dildo shack?
you can't call it that. You have to call it the Dragon's Lair.
The old dragon's lair.
Are they medieval? Are they like past oriented dildos?
I
Or
mean,
just-
isn't
are-
every dildo a past-oriented dildo? Because I don't think anything's really changed, right? I mean,
Yeah, ultimately, there's a basic structure to it that you're after, and a
Yeah.
task that you need
Yeah.
to fulfill. But
Like, is it like one side is a dragon's mouth and the actual apparatus is coming out of its mouth, or something? Like, is there anything like crazy like that? There has to
enough,
be somewhere.
I don't have a great memory of this. I just remember
Okay.
going in there and being like, "Oh God!" We just stumbled into the dragon's lair and thinking was not expecting to see that. And I was also probably pretty high at the time.
This was a shall we carry on.
Yeah,
this was a fast shall we carry on.
But it was also,
Wouldst
this is
thou
hilarious.
like to examine the booklet of SKUs? The ISBN numbers for ye pleasure instruments?
That is the best part of it too, is all the commerce, how quickly it shifts from, "Oh, good sir," to browse my wares to, okay, well, the square isn't reading the. I'm gonna have to type this in manually into the iPad I have here, like kind of stuff like that. It's pretty great just how quickly commerce takes over. Character.
Hey, did you notice that the blacksmith has an iPad with a Naruto cover on it?
This was the thing in the like they were trying to get a Renaissance Fair vibe going in the very very early days of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The Star Wars land. Yeah, that was like it seemed like the bar they were trying to hit was like full time travel. We're in another place and there's this different language that we speak. I don't know if you did it ever in that time or have since, but like that was. I think what they thought would happen, that people will come and kind of live in the world, and I think it did not. I think it is a place with rides and you buy stuff.
Yeah.
But that was certainly where like the roads diverged, because I bought something on the first day and there was some fancy term for credit card. I already don't remember what it was, and I did not have fun with it. I was just like, "What are you talking about?" Your credit card.
They had a name for it, right? I remember this.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the name?
Credits is usually what they say in the Star Wars
They say
universe.
credits
That's what
for
money
money.
is.
But I would have known that.
The
It was
credit
something
card-
about like
they call it
that-
like a pass or something like that. They call it like a I remember this. I remember distinctively being like, "Oh, I like this. I like this that they're all in.
Yeah.
They won't talk to you at all about anything. Like they're hardliners."
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated that.
Yeah. Oh, you brought that term to us too. Hardliner being just like fully go for it. How would you call yourself a hardliner, or do you feel you would not give yourself that full?
No, but I really like anytime there is someone there. I'm a lot of times what I will do is I'll walk to the very end where they have all the there's a lot of people camping there. A lot of people camping they camp there every weekend, and there's people who do reenactments. There's a whole group of people who reenact Scottish Highland warriors from that era.
Wow.
And I talked with one guy for probably, I would say more he talked to me, but for probably about 40 minutes. I sat there, and it was so interesting. He was talking about all the halberds, all the different pikes and stuff, explaining each one of them to me. I was pretty high and having a bunch of beers, but it was fascinating that all the stuff he was explaining. And it ended with him clearly seeing I was very interested, saying, well, let me get your phone number and email, and we have meetups every weekend. If you would like to join us, take it down. And I just, I'm not going to say, "Oh, no. I said, "Okay, yeah." And sure enough, I got a call from this guy for a couple weeks in a row before he realized I'm probably not going to go out to these Highland events.
Which are like outshore.
Probably like in Whittier or Pacoima or something like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like
the fair itself is like half hour east of here.
Yeah,
or
it's
more.
in Irwindale Recreation Dam area. Yeah.
Wow.
But I kind of wanted to go to them. I did. It just didn't work out. It's not something. It's kind of a. I think it's a. You got to be in. You know what I mean? It's a real. It's like any kind of extremely dorky thing where you can't be half in.
Yeah, it's a commitment. Like I remember going to comic stores growing up and seeing like the Warhammer miniatures, and I thought they were very cool, like these little soldiers and tanks and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know. This seems cool, but I cannot commit to this. Like I knew I was like, this is another world. This is the back of the store, and I gravitate to the front of the store, and
they're
never
of the Dragon's Lair.
Two houses equal of dignity, but not.
Jason, do you remember when we were at the Margaritaville grand opening at City Walk, and some of the heads of the San Diego Parrot Head chapter were there?
They were very enthusiastic
and
they
met us and they were like so excited by the idea that we could come down and be part of their San Diego chapter of Parrot Heads, because they said that the San Diego Parrot Heads were much more active than the Los Angeles
Than the
ones.
Orange
Like, it was
County
a much more
ones.
vibrant.
Yeah.
it was a much more vibrant community.
They talk shit on
but-
the Orange County crew.
Yeah, they said that they were the best ones, and that there were like a lot of like political problems with the other chapters of the Parrot Head organizations. But they were like, yeah, here's our information. Like, they were so ready.
This is exactly
like,
the same thing. It's totally parallel.
Yeah.
100% parallel. Same thing.
Yes, and it was like I wanted to do it, but like I'm like, am I really? No, there's no way.
You're going to go to San Diego, and then you're justifying it. You're explaining it to friends like, well, why do I drive all the way down? Oh, yeah, well, it's just better. There's less politics. It's just
Well, here's the
organized.
thing. What you just said doesn't make any sense. How do you explain it to friends? No, you don't have friends. Those are your
Yes,
friends.
Yeah. That's the issue.
That's what that guy was doing. He's like, oh, clearly you don't have any friends. Do you want to be friends with us? Because we'll welcome you.
Which is kind of beautiful,
Yeah, for
and
real.
like he really thinks he's like that. You are a lost soul who he can recruit into his band
Because
of
why
merry
would
men.
anyone else listen to a speech about Hallbirds for 30 minutes and keep asking follow-up questions unless he was a person without friends who needed to have some friends and had weekends? I'm open. You know what I mean?
It did not occur to him that you might be gacked out of your mind and frozen in the spot.
Loving it, but still, like, I'm here. I'm visiting. I'm not. I'm not like looking to move into this area. I'm here as a tourist. I'm a tourist to your world.
I'm cosplaying in Renaissance gear, but also cosplaying as a person who would listen to you.
Yeah.
The interesting thing with all of this set, with the bawdiness and the booziness, I will say Renaissance fairs are very family friendly. A lot of them do outreach for school groups. So I would say, like, the vibes are pretty chill. Like, you can kind of pick whatever level you're at. I don't think they've gotten into some parks that do haunts have started selling like light up necklaces that you can pay extra for and go like, please don't scare me. Please.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm wondering if there's money to be made to like beef up the budgets on these Renaissance fairs of like, hey, give me extra personal space. Like, I want to commit to this, but
a necklace that you wear that lights up where you're like, don't throw a double entendre at me, please.
Please don't. Yeah, I do not
handle it.
want a washing wench to try to make me give them a piggyback ride.
See, that's what I think about the Ren Fair is it's so close to not happening at all. You know, it's so homespun DIY.
Yeah.
That they can barely do what they're doing. To do that it would break their backs. I think to try to accommodate people in that sense.
System.
They have a subtle form of accommodation that wasn't like ADA sort of thing. Like, I think it would probably just tear them to. Why would you not want to have someone? Why would you come if you didn't want to have someone talk to you? It's like the whole point of it. It was just like this gnashing in your brain.
I have a back. I want to give people rides on it.
There was a disclaimer on the Pennsylvania one website of like, look, the pathways are all paved. They're ADA compliant. There are some stages that are in grass fields, and we can't do anything about that. Talking about this, my memory of the marketing for the Pennsylvania one was like very like low budget commercials where it would be a shot of a knight on horseback and then the logo and slowly panning over like a slideshow logo that says like sponsored by Burger King and like someone just singing like the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. But Jordan, if you can pull up that video I sent you, this is the 2022 commercial for it. Ooh. And they upgraded their marketing budget.
Ooh.
Let
the celebration begin!
3D. We just went out of a castle to a woman doing a dance. Oh, mud flops. Turkey women surrounding the turkey guy.
Or fair maidens while the man.
Fish are swimming out of the graphics.
Visit PARenfair.com.
Whoa.
I'm there next year. I'm going.
It's great. And there's travel packages. They've partnered with local hotels in the areas, which there is many because this is like just north of Amish country.
I didn't know this was such a big Ren Fair. That's cool.
Yeah. And at some point they swapped out one small stage and built a mermaid tank.
I saw that.
So there's
that is truly. They're going for broke, aren't they?
Yes.
Mermaid
That is
tank.
truly absurd. The mermaid tank. That is like so unnecessary and it has nothing to do with the Renaissance at all.
Yeah, that's
I
just
love
that
that.
square. I guess it's mythological. It's fantasy.
But
I
love.
suppose.
That's what I like about it. Is it's sort of just. That's the thing about Renaissance Fair that no one ever talks about. It's the original inclusive place. It's the original all-inclusive. There's no one's turned away. You can be the biggest freak you want to be and show up, and no one's gonna say anything to you whatsoever, other than just like, hell yeah. You can be like anything's welcome.
Yeah.
I was looking into the history of it, which I didn't know because I didn't know have these been going since the Renaissance? Has it been 200 years or has it? And I didn't know it wasn't this. It came out of the 60s. It's a 60s Laurel Canyon thing.
Malibu.
Specifically. Huh. Okay.
That was the original one. Was in Malibu, in the hills of Malibu. I think.
In Agoura is what I saw. Yeah.
It was there for a while. It was a really bad documentary about it. That's not that fun to watch. That I have watched, and that this Renaissance Fair here, Renaissance Pleasure Fair, is not the longest running, but it is the oldest. I think it's the oldest one.
That's what they credit as like the first real. There was littler historical festivals, smaller ones. I think an early one was at the Paramount Ranch.
That's the Agoura one.
Yeah.
Which is the filming location for Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
It all burnt down, though, I believe, sadly. So, sorry to tell you, Quinn heads. You can't go to the apothecary or whatever. Is that a thing in the Old West?
Yeah.
Or is that okay.
Right?
Still, all right. My history, literacy. Not
Early
so good.
version of pharmacy.
Okay, that would have been the
Yeah.
one. All right. But yeah, but what
There's a bunch of hippies.
Yeah.
It was all
That
hippies.
I did not know any of that lineage to it. That it was like a hippie oriented thing, and besides the theming and the time travel of it, there was also just the very hippie element of anybody come and it's communal and you peddle your wares and it was like
Sleep with anybody you want to. It was it's very openly like free love, kissing booth kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, that's how it used to be.
And there were articles I was reading. I think Bloomberg is one of them that like they're like you can draw a straight line from early 60s birth of Renaissance Fair to Woodstock or any of that that did not have the theme to it, obviously, but the idea of it's going to be a semi-organized field that is communal and, hey, everybody take care of each other, that maybe that doesn't happen without the rise of Renaissance fairs a few years earlier.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know that, and that also a lot of it was done in counter to, Red Scare,
Really?
that. Yeah, I think so. That the idea of a place where hippies and lefties can come work and not be judged. Like the school teacher, what's the name? Phyllis Patterson was the person who started what became the Pleasure Fair. But that she was very put off by the. Get these pinkos out of here, and a world where people couldn't work because of their ideas and their freewheeling ways.
Yeah.
So the whole thing was a rebellion of the 50s, essentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes
And
sense.
so it's you can see the thing that I keep thinking of is there's a lot of furry cons. There's a thing called Midwest Fur Fest. Mm-hmm. And I go, this is just a Ren Fair for people with fursonas and big costumes, animal costumes, basically. It's the exact same thing. There's the exact same amount of horniness as far as I can tell. I'd never
say
been.
a little bit more horniness.
Yeah.
Maybe
more.
a little bit more horny. That's fair. But it's everybody's almost recreating the model, I feel like.
Yeah. I think I have notes about how they encountered rebellion. There were people who tried to shut down the early Ren fairs because they read of that these places are full of lewd dances and distribution of literature advocating free love and the use of LSD. We must shut down these dreaded endeavors.
Only the CIA can use LSD. No, no. No, no.
That's a good slogan right there. Only the CIA can use LSD. I'm sorry, but only the CIA can use LSD.
I have a card. It's to treat my Havana syndrome.
Ooh.
Which is suspiciously similar to a very bad hangover.
Let me stay in the free love horniness zone a little more. Can we pull up the other clip from PM Magazine? This is we discussed dildos, but there's one word that is adjacent to dildo, or maybe it's not.
Is
actually.
it a pud?
What we're looking at right now
is
the
that's a
codpiece.
pud of some
Let's hear
sort,
this guy. Let's hear this guy discuss his codpiece.
And the codpiece here is a symbol of one of Henry's idiosyncrasies. He had a rule that no man could have a larger codpiece than the king's. And it was a privilege to be with the king when he dressed. And so he would deliberately get his courtiers to help him dress with a moderate-sized codpiece. So they would happily go out and put on theirs.
Let's just stare at this codpiece for a second, too. Kind of like fancy pattern, yellow-orange, a rose on top. I just
it's like a little locker, like a little purse.
A satchel. It's a little satchel for his penis.
It's a penis purse.
A penis purse.
I just never given a lot of thought to the codpiece. I think it's an interesting facet of this, that it's like a way to, like a comfortable environment for people to be able to wear a codpiece, and it's just a funny item because, like there's clothing meant to accentuate women's body parts, but very little for the penis. And with the codpiece having dropped off in popularity, I don't know. I'm fascinated, but it'd be interesting if codpieces came back all of a sudden.
Yeah, maybe like it's a different name. Maybe it's like a pickle storage box.
Pickle purse. Could be pickle purse.
My pickle purse. So I keep my pickle.
Because I think you got to get rid of that name. The name is so. Why is there a name of a fish, which feels limp, feels gross, not the way you want to present your penis?
I wonder what it is. If there's any relation to the fish cod and the cod piece.
I don't know. Yes. Why?
Yeah.
Cod.
This is something you'd ask someone at Ren Fair, and they would give you a lengthy explanation in the Queen's English.
And then you'd be invited if you want to join the Codpiece Society, if you want to fight the fight to get codpieces back into the national
cod
consciousness.
tank.
It should at least be a better fish.
Yeah. What's a more virile,
a marlin,
strong barracuda? Marlin definitely. Yeah,
marlin and barracuda are both good. Yeah, I don't know. Trout is not. Trout would be bad. Trout piece,
walleye
is good. It's funny, but yeah.
What's that one? Anything you like the cheaper stuff at a restaurant. You don't want a tilapia piece or a
scrod.
Scrod. No,
scrod.
Scrod piece.
Scrod piece.
You've managed to find one that's worse than codpiece. Just took a couple extra letters.
In the modern era, similar clothing pieces are worn in the leather subculture.
Oh yeah.
And in performance costumes, such as for rock musicians and metal musicians. So
Well, I think of it with Batman and Rob. I feel like Batman
had a cod, didn't he?
Yeah, you'd call that a cod piece, I would say.
He's got a dangler.
There's that Chris O'Donnell toy that hasn't come out yet from Batman Forever that I want, and his cod piece is possibly the biggest I've ever seen on any person or toy.
Bigger than King Henry here with his rose.
That's why he doesn't work as much anymore.
I'm gonna find the picture and I'll just send it in the chat.
That's why he doesn't.
He's relegated to NCIS New Orleans because they're like, well, it's a party city, so it makes sense for his character to always have this codpiece on.
He has to wear a codpiece. It's just it's actually a medical device.
What does it do for you? How are you helped medically by? Is it are they is there like a gas moving through it that's just
I don't really know.
Things fresh
I'm not
there?
really sure. I've never worked with them on this, so I don't really know. But I mean, it'd be a cool thing to explore. I think
they'll give you the rundown if you're ever casting something with Chris. They'll give you
the
talk.
Hey Johnny, can you come into the office real quick? The UPM talk to you. Hey, we're happy to have you. We'll let you know a little something about Chris. And that But the rest I won't say because I don't know what it's.
You don't know the specifics of it, but remember the main thing is Chris's eyes are up here. All right, he is not his codpiece.
There's a lot of room for improvisation in this scene. Whatever you do, don't punch him in the dick. I know you are a naval deserter in this scene. You are deserting from the Navy, and the NCIS are after you. But whatever you do, don't become so desperate that you try to punch him in the dick, because you will be hurt by the codpiece.
I wasn't going to do that, but I guess I definitely will not
It's
do
safety
that now.
This is standard safety meeting. It's in the SAG. It's in the 2022 agreement.
Got it.
Yeah.
And we've told people not to do it, and they say they won't do it, and then they still do it. So we want to make sure you're not one of those.
Okay.
Like that your word is your bond.
No, I didn't come here. I didn't spend my entire life just to get to this moment where I could do a thing that I was told not to do.
Okay, great. So your hand will remain functional, and you'll be fine.
I sent it in the chat, so look. I don't know that it's actually based on his own thing. I think the toy makers got excited, perhaps, and decided to really have fun with it.
Oh, you sent us the
picture.
I don't know. All right. Well, Jordan,
the
if you
picture
have
is
it.
in the Zune. Yeah, Jordan, if you can, whenever
Wait
you
a
get
second.
a chance.
Chris O'Donnell, COD, COD.
Oh my God.
Oh fuck!
It's been hiding in plain sight all these years.
COD. What's up, COD? Hey man, how'd you know his name?
I just want to give an update. Chris O'Donnell is in NCIS Los Angeles. Scott Bakula is NCIS New Orleans.
Oh. I like your notion that a story in the show is about capturing naval deserters.
Well,
that holds water.
NCIS
That's exciting. It
is,
sounds good.
like military crimes, I believe.
It could be. I have zero idea what a plot would be on NCIS.
Yeah.
Jag.
The
so
original
we'll
one
get
is
there
like, well,
eventually.
Mark Harmon is super competent and he's really handsome. Like that's his character's game.
Mm-hmm. And he got punched in the dick.
And that's why he finally left the show. He got punched in the dick too hard.
my dick's getting too old for
And
this
O'Donnell's
shit.
like, just listen to
here
my
we are.
voicemails. Call me back.
That is okay. Now we're looking at. Now we
there it
got.
is.
This is the toy.
Wow, that is not
COD,
right.
the
That
COD
can't be
piece.
real.
That's insane. That's the movie wasn't like that. It's
That's
like
what I'm saying.
thrusting
Like the movie, he
outward,
didn't look
so-
like
That's
that.
ridiculous. It's even got like a sort of webbing that indicates it's under stress. The fabric is being, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't
Being pushed to
designed
its limit.
The plastic. It feels like plastic to me, and even the plastic is like we're breaking down here.
Because the Batman one is more like a shell, like a protective thing. This appears to be, that's a protective thing to protect Batman's balls.
Kind of makes sense with
Yeah.
the way the legs are sculpted.
But look at
This,
that.
you can see veins.
If you squint enough, you're seeing a bonobo monkey right now.
Yeah.
The kind with the red nose, right? Or is
like
that a
a-
bonobo? Whatever that's one it's called with the red nose. It's that monkey that has the big old, a proboscis monkey. It looks like that, right?
Yeah.
Whoa, what a pull.
It's like a Snickers bar. It's got the caramel dick veins on it.
It's not Batman's
amazing.
codpiece is playing defense, and this is playing offense. This is like facing forward. If he jumps, jumps at the penguin, he could poke his eyes out on the way.
I think Ace and Gary are less sexual than this.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, they didn't push it far enough.
The company that makes this is called Hot Toys.
Oh well.
Well, takes on a different meaning now.
You could this would be in the Dragon's Lair, no problem.
Yeah.
Mike, you have to let. Are you getting this? Is this going to be in your home soon?
It's not out yet. I haven't pre-ordered it. If I get it, obviously the first people that will know is the Podcast The Right Audience.
That's what I was going to say. As soon as it is available, please bring it to a video version of the show. And then I don't want to say where it should go in your apartment, but I love that Leonardo with the big dick tail. I just think you put these right next to each other.
Touching? You want their dicks to touch?
That's exactly what I want. And then I want to see photographic proof of it, and then also keep your daughter out of there.
Yeah, no, she should not be exposed to this filth.
Cannot see Robin's a rogue.
Yeah, he's a rogue. And Mike, so you moved recently, so you might still have some flex space that you haven't decided what to do with yet. It sounds like you need to make it an in-home dragon's lair.
Ooh.
For dildos?
Well, for your filth toys.
For
like,
toys? For my toys that have prominent dicks.
Yeah,
is what you're
sweetie.
saying.
And remember, honey, you're not allowed to go to the dragon's lair until you're much, much older, and we have a talk with you about dragon's lairs.
The Dragon Slayer.
Again, it's funny to say this, but I think like the level of bawdiness of a lot of the shows, and the Pennsylvania website does like there are icons where it's like this is a PG-13 show, or like this is a plus PG-13 plus, like avoid the kids. Like I think you can take families to the Renaissance Fair. It's just maybe now and then you have to go like, oh hey, we're not going that way.
Also, it feels like it's a more natural form of sexuality. It's not like a junior at the computer finding something and all of a sudden he can't unsee. It's everyone's around. You can discuss it. It's out in the open.
Sure.
It's a more like, it's a more like old school version of it. It seems less, if it's something that's outside, it's in the air, it's daytime, it's less like, it's not
shameful.
It's not shameful.
Lascivious.
Yeah.
Lascivious. It's not this thing where it appears to be dark and vicey. It's more fun. And maybe it's titillating, but it's it's okay to embrace your sexuality a bit as opposed to having to hide it and to be, I don't know. I've just all of a sudden got very like what do you call it? Philosophical with this whole thing.
Yeah.
There's no like stepmother, father, siblings business going on. There's no Ted Cruz likes, Twitter likes business going on here.
You're just saying porno, mother-daughter porno stuff?
Huh?
Yeah, that was a that was an interesting pile of words.
Were you saying you were saying like porno scenarios?
There's no stepmom
there's
porn
no
happening.
There's no step business going on. There's no Dean
How
Norris
do we know that?
sex gifts going on.
Dean Norris?
The characters aren't. The characters at the Renaissance Fair are talking about like mine stepsister.
Wait, which is which? What was Ted Cruz? What's the tweet that Ted Cruz liked, and then what did Dean Norris?
Someone on Ted
tweet?
Cruz's staff liked like a GIF from like a step sibling like Johnny Sins porno movie, and then Dean Norris just attempting to Google tweeted the phrase "sex gifs."
Oh my god!
And never delete. Much respect, never deleted it.
That is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That is great.
He saw the humor in it.
Yeah.
I think there has to be someone needs to invent a thing for as you get older that limits your ability to interact with technology, so things like that can't happen. Because it's going to happen to everybody. If you don't if you're not super techie and current, you're going to misstep when you're trying to use a thing you don't know that well. Next thing you know, you're tweeting out sex gifs.
Well, it's not like a child lock or child safety.
It's a grandpa lock, basically. There needs to be a grandpa lock on things where you can't have access unless someone in your inner circle is with you, showing you like, okay, so if you want to see the stuff that we know you want to see.
And I'm not asking questions. You have to be really open-minded with your parent or grandparents.
Right.
Don't judge them in any way, but just like a discussion before.
If you want to see Marina Sirtis naked.
This is called Firefox Focus. It's a browser. It's always in private mode, and it only opens one website at a time.
Yes.
You're not logged into anything. It won't leave you logged into anything.
That would be great, actually. That'd be pretty good.
This is a good business idea, maybe something to file away.
Hi, I'm Marina Sirtis. Have you been searching for me on the internet? Well, fear no longer. You can find me without having other people know that you found me.
Without broadcasting to all of your followers.
I've partnered with Mozilla to...
I'm going to tweet out Marina Sirtis sex gifts.
Please do. Well, this will solve the mystery if people hear the podcast and like, oh, so that's why.
This is why I came here, is I can say Marina Sirtis and everyone knows who I'm talking about immediately.
Yeah.
This is the audience for
Wait,
that.
let me admit that I don't. I've liked the sound of it and the reference,
Oh,
but I actually
we're talking
don't.
about Counselor Deanna Troi from Star Trek.
Oh, okay. You knew. All right.
She was also one of the characters on Gargoyles, Scott. The Disney animated show.
She
Gargoyles.
was? I didn't know that because I used to love that show.
She's like she's Demona from Gargoyles.
The kind of anti-hero gargoyle. Is that right?
Damn.
She's like the main female gargoyle.
Yeah.
Gargoyle
sense.
sex gifts.
Marina Sirtis
Brother,
gargoyle sex gifts.
Don't
Thundercats.
start down that rabbit hole, or you might never come out.
That's there. Yeah, that exists.
That is for sure there.
I'm looking at these results.
There's
right
guys
now.
with
They're pretty
Patreons probably who have that. Like, what do you do? I do gargoyles porn. Gargoyles. This is a more recent picture here, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah, and not a set. Yes, Jordan did not pull up a sex gif of her. That would not be proper for the Forever Dog YouTube channel.
do not
Perfect
do
red
that.
carpet photo.
I'm a big Marina Sirtis fan. I'm a big fan. Everyone in Star Trek: The Next Generation, I'm a massive fan of.
Me too.
So I would not disrespect any of them. Michael Dorn,
Gates
Jonathan Frakes,
McFadden.
none of them deserve. Gates McFadden does not deserve that.
Jonathan Frakes.
Also on Gargoyles, the bad guy on Gargoyles.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So did they all meet there? And Gene Roddenberry was just like, "Hey, I like this show a lot. I'm just gonna steal the cast." Not Gene Roddenberry. Who's the EP for Next Gen?
The later one. I don't. Do you know?
Yeah.
Mike? You know behind the scenes name?
Well, Gargoyles is like 95, and Gene Roddenberry dies in like 90.
Okay, so it was not.
It was not.
So Gargoyles, they
I think it
met
was-
on track, and they went on to work on Gargoyles together. I get it.
But now you know.
'Cause I think-
Look up that show, and you're essentially getting extra Star Trek Next Gen.
Damn.
Plus with
Some
sexy
bounding.
gargoyles.
What's it called? Shipping? Is that what they call it?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
guess so. Yeah.
yeah.
If you've ever wanted your favorite Star Trek characters to be gargoyles, first of all,
A little Riker Troy shipping.
There is
not really,
a
but
long
not really needed
history.
because they're together, so you don't need to ship them. They've been shipped.
oh, shipping is if
Okay.
they aren't together. Yeah.
Got it.
Right.
That's like Diva and Chitara.
Yeah. Or like you would ship Data and Troy sexually.
Oh, I thought it was like different shows. Like you take like
could do that.
Tracer from
I think-
Overwatch and have her have a scene with I don't know.
I think that is allowed. I think that is. There's a
I
lot.
think that falls
of
under
umbrella.
the same. Yeah.
Well, let me.
Jurisdiction.
Can I? Then I'd like to ship. Let's say Ed Asner's character from Gargoyles, Hudson,
Okay.
with Mark Harmon's character from NCIS.
Okay.
Put those together
Okay. Yeah.
in a
That's
in a
great.
sexy New Orleans type setting.
like they've had a bunch of Sazeracs, and now they're going back to his place in the French Quarter.
And it's where Hudson is a gargoyle on the building. So
Okay.
like it's
Oh, he lives in an old building that has a gargoyle.
Yeah.
And it's a full moon. I can't get into this. They can't get into this for free.
That will be on the Patreon.
Yeah.
We'll start. Yeah, we'll do all of our fan fiction shipping behind a paywall. Before we want to take here, let me just do some like quick hits of stuff we have. Let me see if you have experience with these. Do you are these big parts of your Ren Fair experience? We haven't really talked jousting. You watch Joust?
Yeah, I feel like the joust is the what do you call it? Like the most obvious thing. It's the
Kind of part of the big finale.
Yeah.
End
Biggest
of
crowd
day.
pleaser.
but it's also kind of like the normie part of the Ren Fair.
Sure.
It's where all
Yes.
you take your kids, take the whole family down to joust. It's always crowded, and that's where you go. It's fun, but it's also, to me, it's the normie part of it. You see it once and you've seen it enough.
Sure. Yeah. You get the idea. That's interesting. I think it's interesting that there are rides at Ren Fair, but not electric powered ride. All the rides are like pushed around
Or like
by
ropes.
somebody.
I saw Adrian Grenier on a swing one time. That was cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty good. But yeah, you get on like a big rocking horse, a giant rocking horse. That seems like fun.
Yeah.
You get in a big maze. I don't think we ever talked about big mazes on this show.
Oh,
Maybe
that's a
I
good
kinda like a
one.
big maze.
Yeah.
These mazes aren't super big though. The one, at least in my experience, they're not huge mazes. It's not like there's those big mazes that are an attraction themselves, right? This is more just like it's more for kids, I think.
Okay.
I think you set up hay bales, and you make a
Right.
maze as opposed to like a pre-built hedge maze.
Oh sure, yeah. Hedges. That's too much. You like put one of those up permanently, and then that stays there.
Yeah.
And you die in it in the snow.
Yes. Having terrorized your family. Yes. Hey, I feel like we got to talk about maypoles real quick because I just feel like Jason would like a maypole.
I mean, I can't remember if I've ever done a maypole, but I like the concept. Just ribbons off a pole, and you everyone runs around it, and you wrap the ribbon around the pole, and then you do it all over again.
You got to do it maypole.
I've never done it. I've never been there in time to participate. But they do it all the time. I think
It's
every
a
weekend.
giant line. You got to get there at 5 a.m. to do the maypole.
That's very family
get
friendly.
a lightning lane for a maypole.
Yeah,
you got to pay extra.
it's the rise of the resistance of the Renaissance Pleasure Fair.
drinks there. Well, first of all, what's going on with mead? We got mead happening. Is mead any good?
It's kind of sweet. It's honey wine, basically.
Oh.
It's slow fermented honey wine. I don't like it. It's too sweet for me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like I would.
But people like it because it's of the time. It's very. It's such a. I think it's the oldest fermented beverage. Maybe.
Huh.
It might be.
Sounds right.
It's before beer.
Right.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you drinking then usually?
I'm drinking a lot of just beers. I'm drinking a lot of let's say have craft brew now, so you can get a higher ABV. If you really want to get blitzed, just get real schlacked. So you're just dragging your foot around there. You know what I mean? Just real inebriated to the point where you feel totally unencumbered from saying literally anything of the period.
Yes.
E
old double IPA.
Yeah. Ye old double IPA from Goose Island.
But back then, Goose Island was just an island that was terrorized by geese.
People, you can never go there.
You can never
beware
go there.
Goose Island.
That's not our kingdom anymore. That belongs to the geese.
You want to be goose food? Are you crazy?
Yeah. Scott, I was telling you before we started recording, the day I was there, the day me and like 50 7th graders were just unleashed on our own to like, all right, just have a buddy. You can run around all you want. Just don't do it alone. I ate a turkey leg, and then they gave us like refillable cups at the fair, and just all day for 8 hours only drank Coca-Cola.
Oh my
so
God.
this was like the field trip that I left feeling like I am dying. Something has gone wrong. And and of course it was just a yellow school bus.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, we're so many hours away from the middle school. How will I live? And I looked it up. I looked up the Google Maps, and from the Renaissance Fair to my middle school was an hour and 10 minutes. So I was just in such a state. I was just like, that was probably when I learned, like, okay, if you go to a Renaissance Fair, you go to a theme park, because these are essentially very like pop-up theme parks for like 2, 3, 4 months of a year. I need to drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
Because
a lot
of
I don't
these,
know, would that have helped this situation? I mean,
I think this would have helped.
But
I would have
pee...
felt better. Yeah, the pee would not have been resolved, but I would not have felt like shit from that much corn syrup and caffeine.
Would it be justified to wear a diaper to I don't think people wore diapers back then.
I think they definitely did. Yeah,
so?
probably. Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's almost, you can piss yourself there. I think it's one of the few places you can piss yourself, and it's not a big deal.
Jeez.
It's really not.
That's that hippie idea. To not be judged for your clothes being soaked in urine.
You could also probably sell it. You could be like, I'm the bad man of the town. I'm the piss man.
Or just say it's pickle brine.
Give me a hug. I'm the piss man.
We gotta hug the piss. We came all this way. We can't not hug the piss man.
Oh, honey, look, it's the piss man.
I got some of his piss on me.
He ran out of snake oil and just started selling piss.
Is that Jason Mraz playing the piss man?
I was the piss man for a little bit, then I was the pickle man. I upgraded to pickle man.
Wait a minute. Is the remedy piss? Has this whole time the remedy?
The remedy.
Mysterious. It's a
song,
dangerous liaison. The liaison is you in a toilet.
Yeah, we all know the lyrics to the remedy, Jason.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you did. Okay. I have one more little thing before we wind it down.
Is the dunk tank?
Speaking of, wait, we haven't talked about that. I've seen the phrase drench a wench.
Oh my God, I have drenched that wench every time I've gone. I'll do it 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
And I'm like deadly accurate too.
Jeez, really? What are you throwing?
These little it's like if you go to a batting cage, it's like a softball from a batting cage.
Huh.
But I have drenched this wench. She insults you like crazy. She will be very, very mean.
Okay,
she will insult your manhood. She'll insult, like, if you're with a significant other, she'll insult that person, all kinds of stuff. And I have dunked that wench right in the middle of an insult. There's nothing that feels better in the entire world than drenching a wench right when she's mouthing off, and you just dunk her.
Wow.
In the midst of saying, "Oh, you and your little cut." Oh, really?
Jeez. Oh,
Yes.
She doesn't even get out the full thing. That mouth floods with water, and then that.
That's only happened one time. I had the perfect timing, but
you must really feel that, like, because also if you're high in adrenaline, you're probably like the emotions are stronger too. So like that rage, like you feel it go into your hand.
This is usually early on. It's kind of early in the fair, so I'm probably pretty sober at that point.
Okay. Oh, you hit that one on the earlier.
Hit it early,
Well, for accuracy, I guess.
Yes.
Like you don't want to be throwing willy nilly.
We would have dunk tanks at like fundraising school fairs and stuff, and like teachers or principals would like rotate through doing it. And I always liked and got along with most of my teachers and the principals and stuff. But when I saw them at the dunk tank, I was like, I want to get them.
Oh yeah,
I want to dunk them in the water.
It's a primitive thing. You just want to drench.
Yeah,
that
because you're allowed to like own someone. Just really get them. Sorry, Mr. Salvatore. That polo is getting drenched.
Did you dunk Mr. Salvatore?
I think so. I am not the most accurate throw, but I was always pretty good at dunk tanks.
Oh, it's the best.
It's something we should maybe offer to the listeners. Possibly is like if you want. So we've had our, we had our gripe situation. You can complain at us that way, but
Splash the Scott.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to think of them for the other. There's not Splash. Wait. We'll Splash the Sheridan works.
That works.
Yeah.
You got soak. You got drench. You got wet.
Mm-hmm.
You got splash.
Wet Michael.
Yeah. Get Mike wet.
Drown Michael.
Drown Michael.
A listener really hates you if that's the.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
But like instead of just complaining at us if we get stuff wrong, if we gave people an opportunity to like. You think you know everything about I Love Lucy, you motherfuckers? Those years were all over the map. Bang, drowned, and then you.
You don't know everything about Marina Sirtis. You faker, you liar.
I do.
No, I do. All right.
One thing I saw on the Pennsylvania website that I really liked, they listed all the vendors, and it's so like specific. There's so much cool stuff you can buy. There's so many craftsmen employed, like in selling their wares and stuff. But the list was like swords, candles, homemade longbows, and then there was just a little icon that just said cheesesteaks. So, and there for all the language, there are a lot of comforts of the modern. There are ATMs scattered throughout the fair and in the wine shop.
Yeah.
It was mostly cash, though. I was surprised, but they're like, okay, you can go in and with a credit card that, there's all those, like, if you have cash, convert it to a debit card. This was the opposite. If you have a credit card, you can buy coins that you can use for goods and services at the fair, or just take one home as a souvenir. And I thought that was a really clever way to do it. Yeah. And they're like, if change is required, we will just give you change in regular legal tender.
Okay. They don't have every increment of coin.
I can't believe how good the Pennsylvania one is. I didn't realize that.
It sounds really solid. Yeah, seems like a strong one. A quick thing before we wind it down. Here's somebody you might want to drench. This is Jordan. Can you pull up the one that the clip that has the words January 6th in it?
Oh yes,
I'm happy to bring those words into the
What's
chat.
that mean?
I don't know if you know.
Oh,
what
it's
happened on
Topsy-Turvy Day from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's
movie.
true. That is a bizarre thing that is true. All right, let's see this.
A woman from Pennsylvania accused of stealing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's laptop during the January 6th riot will be allowed off of house arrest this weekend to go to the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. Again, Riley Williams of Central PA had asked a judge to let her go to the fair this Saturday. The judge granted that request today, making this her second trip to the fair while on home confinement. She was allowed to go last month as well.
Honestly, I heard about this, and I support this, and I love this woman despite everything that she has done. I feel like this is a jewel of a human. You know what I mean? There's like this dichotomy going on there. Ren Fair and insurrection meet.
Yeah.
And a person. It's just like it's too good. It's almost like How is that a real story? It's so good.
Your Honor, my client is not Mr. Ren Fair in 20 years, and the first time she went, the mermaid tank wasn't ready, but now it is open. She's got vlogs to make, Your Honor.
You expect her to not partake in the bountiful cheesesteaks?
Yeah.
What a
there
badass.
are a lot of videos, like videos of shows, videos of like what's new at the Renaissance Fair. There's a lot of crossover with like theme park vlogging stuff of like here's what's new, here's what's the best, and like secrets.
And she'd probably make the best one of all of them. And we don't want to give her a shot. We know that she's a dynamo. She's the one who made it in there and got the laptop.
I think she should probably be in the military. I think she's got what it takes to be a leader.
Yeah,
in the military.
Well, she got into the Capitol, and then she broke out of house arrest with everyone legally in the clear to go to the past.
It's just too good. It's just so good. It's like a perfect story, basically.
You're in love.
Did she bring the laptop to the fair?
Ye old pilfered goods.
Should get her on the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. She could stay under house arrest, but obviously, as with you, Johnny, in person, it's it's better. It's more organic. It's more fun. So we're gonna want her. Well, let's start. We'll file an appeal and see if we can get. I don't remember her name, but we'll know it and cherish it soon enough.
Just add her to the pile of all the different January 6 people we've tried to get on the podcast.
They're just. They're too in demand.
Yeah, anytime we reached
tried.
out, they just kept saying, I don't need to tell you that. Am I being detained?
Is it possible that the insurrection was sort of a pop-up theme park?
Wow. Well, it was a themed experience.
Yeah.
Like, the boring Capitol got re-themed for a day. It's like it's Viking Day in the Capitol Dome.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore. There's a lot of exhausting canon.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of people who live in fantasy worlds.
Yeah, that's really what it is. The people they're the biggest hardliners are the people who've gone full insurrection mode.
Mike and I waiting in an 8-hour line. We want a chance to buy that laptop.
It's very similar if you think about it. There's definitely got to be a crossover.
It's a full-time cosplay that you forgot is a cosplay. Mm-hmm. God, yeah, that you never come back from.
Also, Nancy Pelosi's laptop is still using an unsupported version of Internet Explorer with 6 different those search bars that would just add themselves to your browser back in the day.
It makes it harder to buy like child blood on the black market when you've got all those pop-up blockers.
Yes, and you have not renewed Norton Antivirus 2005, but it is still prompting you to.
Well, look, I'm sorry we didn't. If I'd known, I would have gotten her today to be here to be at the 4th microphone. But unfortunately, hey, it was still great to talk to.
It was great. I'm
you
glad to
minus.
I'm glad to be here in her stead.
Well, yeah, so happy you could, Johnny Pemberton. You survived podcast The Ride. Thank you so much. What a blast!
Thanks for having me.
Have you?
Thank you.
Let's exit through. Let's exit through the Dragon's Lair. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Like I said, just Google me and whatever comes up, you can engage with it how you will. You can choose to listen to my podcast, or you can also you can just like look at photos.
Just kind of ogle you, admire you.
Do that. I don't know. You can watch. You can purchase films I've done in the past. Maybe purchase them a couple times or watch them on DirecTV. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Do all those things.
You can find information of when films you've been in will be on DirecTV and on what channel.
Pay the $300 license for a Getty image photo?
Yes, that would be great. Actually, I don't think I get any of that, but...
Here's one.
Yeah,
I don't know if this is
nice
a purchasable one or if this is just this one's for free.
These are all Getty, right? Yeah, I love looking at my face on this. This feels so great
on a big TV.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
In pixelated
interact
quality.
with these. Just interact with these photos. Doctor them, make them look like they're from the Renaissance. Go for it.
Give you funny mustaches and turn him into a shirtless pickle man.
Exactly.
You know what? I think that's in the spirit of the Renaissance Fair that you're essentially saying like. Okay, cut loose. You explore my body of work at your own pace. You're not putting
Yes.
regulations on it.
No regulations,
that's
yeah.
Beautiful. Wow,
Unlike
that's a great
these
plug.
people in the Capitol.
Okay, as for us, none of that shit. We're telling you what to do. Here's specific instructions. You can watch this episode on the Forever Dog YouTube channel. You can find us on the socials at Podcast The Ride. Merch is available on our TeePublic store. Thanks to Jordan Katz for producing this episode. You have to do that to say thank you out loud to Jordan Katz as you're listening to this. You've done a great job. And for 3 bonus episodes every month, check out Podcast The Ride, The Second Gate, or you get 1 more bonus episode on our new tier, Club 3. That's all at patreon.com/Podcast The Ride. All right, you do that. You don't fuck around. If you want to be willy-nilly, that's for looking up Johnny on Mozilla.
Yeah, be willy-nilly.
Jeez, you got a cooler vibe. You're looser than us. What can I say? It's the weed thing, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right.
We need to
I'll
drop
try
some
to
acid
listen.
and go
Yeah,
to-
yeah. We'll do it before the next episode.
Chill.
Okay.
Okay.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Mike Carlson, Jason Sheridan, Scott Gardner, Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram at Forever Dog Team and liking our page on Facebook.